Today we're going to be installing a wiring harness into a 2021 Pacifica hybrid with the premium console, which is this long thing right here. The problem is the non-premium console has the outlets down here, which is very close to where we put the Panda. However, this is where the premium console has the 12-volt outlet. Unfortunately, it's a very tight space all through here, so we have to take it apart and carefully run the wire harness I made, which is why I put a plug here, which is just about big enough to barely fit through all the cracks. We're going to need a flat blade screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, maybe a couple prying tools. If you have marring pry tools, that'd be the best. They're available at Harbor Freight and other places. I've already pulled some of the screws out just to make this go faster. I will show you where they go. Quicker is the better. So first thing we're going to do is pull the glove box out. Just open it up. There's a little zip cord on the side here that I've already disengaged from that little peg there. That allows it to open and close slowly. It is right here. That just pops back and up. The next thing we're going to do is, fastest way I figured out is just pull straight out from the bottom. And it releases the legs, and it just pulls out and sits down. Now you can see it has 3 hinge spots which go into those spots right here. The next thing we're going to do is remove this panel. This panel just has little push pins like this, and you literally just push the center in one click and they release. Then when you're ready to replace them, you just push them back out and then push them back in, which is really nice that Chrysler did that, because there's one here, there's one here, there's 3 total, and then this just pulls right out. If you want to remove the light, you can actually use the light to do the work around the inside here. You just pull that out of there, pop it out, and you can use it as a flashlight until your car goes to sleep and then it turns off. So the next thing we're going to do, put that panel out of the way. This is where the star panel is for the CAN bus. We would be working on this one here. I already have the 2 lines that we need dislodged right there. They may be in a different spot on yours. I don't remember where they were originally, but I've had them unplugged and plugged back in. I just left them unplugged so I remember which ones were which, so I don't have to relook it up. Down here, this panel pops off real easy. You pull it to the top. It just has 2 clips. Actually 3 that just pop off. This gives us access to behind. It actually can go over to the driver's side as well if you wanted to go that route. Next step is we're going to remove this panel. You just grab it from the bottom here and then just carefully pull out, and it just pops out. Now you want to be careful. Back here is a little metal piece that will scratch here if you're not careful with it. Then we're going to do the same on the other side. Just going to pull out. Work around the bottom so it's a little tighter on this side. Mind the metal part so we don't scratch the trim. Set that aside. Next thing we're going to do is remove this panel. Now this panel just pops straight up. I believe it has 4 clips. Now I have this already unscrewed. Normally this piece here has, let me get it back into place, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. Once you get those screws out, you can pull this panel up and out. This is where these wires are plugged into your outlets. This is where we're going to be tapping into. So I'm going to set that aside. Next step is, with all this out, really all there is to do now is just run the wire. So we're going to take this wire, Let me untangle it real quick. And we're just going to feed it up through here, out there. And this is going to be the most tricky part. We need to go up underneath this panel here. So there's this little hidden panel up here, and we're going to be using a flat blade screwdriver. Get my hand out of the way here. There's a pry spot right there. I don't know if you can see it. And this piece is actually the back of the cell phone charger. I'm going to just pry it ever so carefully. Sorry, I'm going to need both hands. I can't show you exactly what I'm doing, but I'm sure you can figure it out. It just has a few clips holding it on, and it just comes straight down out of there. This is where we are going to stick our hand up in there around the back side here, and we're going to catch the back of that wire trying to put it through. And that comes back down through there. So we're going to now feed this down through here, and then we're going to grab it on the other side with our hand. It can be a little tricky. I'm going to use both hands. Sometimes takes a minute to get your fingers on it. You can also fish it through with like a coat hanger and tape it to the coat hanger if you have larger fingers. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go, got it. So I have the wire in my fingertips. It just keeps slipping out. There it goes. And now we have it seamlessly in there. So we're going to give it some more slack. Okay, so we can pull this through. Now the part that you're going to want to hook up is on the thicker wire. You'll notice that there are two wires here. One has thicker wires for the power outlet, and one has thinner wires for the USB charger. You're going to want to go into the thicker one, even though Panda really doesn't take much power unless you're worried about blowing it. If you're running anything with high loads on that power outlet, you might want to run it on the USB port. I'm not sure if the USB port has the exact same pinouts. I haven't really tested it, but I would assume so. Looking at it, just first glance, it does look like that. So we hook this up in here. This goes into the back of the power outlet. This gets hooked back up to the USB ports. And then this already has a 3 amp fuse I've put in there. This is just going to kind of tuck up in here and stay there until it blows. It should never blow, but you never know. That's why I added it. It's a safety precaution. So now we're going to take this piece and fish it back up through that little port to the front. I'll put the phone down. Again, I need two hands. Grab one from each side. Then, like I said, if you have larger fingers or hands, it might be a good idea to take a coat hanger or whatnot and just kind of fish it through that way. I'm lucky enough to have smaller hands. So now I've got it pulled back up through here. This is why we took that port off. It's just kind of a midpoint. And then we just wrap it up behind into here, and then we're going to pull the slack out, and this will reach all the way up above that little trim piece and fit into a little tiny hole right here, which is where I actually stuck my Panda device. Actually, no, I'm sorry, it's up here. I stuffed the whole Panda and all the harnesses up in there. And that is pretty much it. Then you just put everything back. If you have any additional questions, you can always ask me.